Hi everyone. Hi Mom. I have a small project today, and if you followed my other tutorial on how I put my envelope journals together, this was the one that I had demonstrated how to do the closure. So this is the closure that I ended up doing for mine. It's just a gear glued to that black button actually that I had pulled out. Decided that I was going to use it. And again, it's just the wrap, seam binding, really simple closure. But it's, it's great because if it grows a little bit, then you've got lots of room to tie it closed again. I got this piece of metal from Patty Perry, yes. And it's quite long, but I did cut it in half, so it's on either side of the eyelet. Let's see if I can get that up so you can see that. Does that show for you guys? There you go. So it's, glued down with E6000, and then I wanted to dress it up a little bit, so I put some teal blue stickles. Fussy cut the image out. I printed a second image from, this is the name of the kit, Steamtown Spring by Ephemera's Vintage Garden. I absolutely love her digital kits. She always puts a little bit of teal almost in every single one. There's a couple that, don't have it, but I love the teal, and I really wanted something with yellow tones, which is why I was thrilled with this kit. So that's the front and the back, and I did cut it instead of wrapping it. I ended up cutting it and adhering it down with a decoupage, which I love the feel that this gave. Much nicer than the gel medium, I have to say. I love gel medium. It has its places, but when I want something a little more pliable, I actually prefer the decoupage or Mod Podge. I don't have any Mod Podge left, so I'm using up my decoupage. Okay, so I don't even know how many pages, but it is a chunky little guy. It's a 4x6. This was the envelope gifted to me by Crafty Arena, and this is what it looked like. Just a little clasp envelope. I wanted to keep the clasp as a clasp, so that's the back. I still haven't covered this part because I can't decide what I want to put on it yet. I don't know if it's going to be lace or I don't know. Nothing's kind of hit me between the eyes yet, so I'm leaving it until it does. But in the meantime, I will show you what I've done with the inside. Now, I've used almost exclusively Ephemera's Vintage Garden, but I have a couple of stickers that I threw in there from Glitz. They're kind of I'll show you the sticker pack. This is what it's called. So I'll get that underneath there for you. And it's kind of vintage looking. So, yeah, it's been in my stash forever. Decided to throw some of those in there. And that's about it. I think there's a couple of little things I put in there from, it's also Ephemera's Vintage Garden, but I just had it sitting on my desk, and it's the Queen Bee, Vintage Queen Bee, I think it's called. I made a journal out of it before, and I guess I had leftovers. Anyway, so this butterfly was gifted to me by Crafty Irina. She sent me these. She'd cut them out, and I think they're the Sizzix, the Tim Holtz, and she sent me this one too, this shape, and I think that's what they are. I don't have this die, but I've seen it a lot in Denise's journal, so I'm guessing it's a Tim Holtz because she absolutely loves those big dies. Me too. I kept it as kind of, loose, but I did add a little bit of stickles to it. Now, these pieces here are just torn from a sheet that I had, and I just glued them down after I inked them up. And they're not tuck spots, they're just basically to dress up the page. There are a lot of stamping, and mostly it's Stampin' Up! Stamps, almost exclusively. The rest I couldn't tell you because I don't know. Now this tuck spot here, I just layered a bunch of the ephemera from the kit just because I really didn't know what to do with it. And I thought, well, that's a good way to use them up. I really was determined to use every piece, and I did. I was pleased to say. And I love these petal pockets. They're so adorable. And then she gives you 3 cutouts. Now, I kept mine together and just accordioned them like that so that you'd get a long sheet to journal on. And you had to bend them and glue them together because they're longer. You know, there's white in between, which makes them bigger than the pocket in here. So that's how I did it. And then, of course, I put lines inside here, too, so you could actually journal right in the little petal pocket. Okay, so you fold one up, over, down, then you lift this corner, and you tuck it in. It's simple. Used a lot of washi tape. Not sure who that's from. I wish they put the names on the inside, you know, then you'd remember where you got it. But this is a little flip. So this is where I cut her from for the front. Isn't that pretty? I just love this page. And like I said, tons of stamping. It's kind of it is steampunk, but I didn't keep it exclusively steampunk. I added flowers and doilies and, you know, different things like that. So this actually was cut off from here. Or here, maybe, like that. Yeah. But I wanted it as a journal spot, and I wanted a tuck. And I absolutely loved the edging that she put in there. And again, another torn piece of page. I think it's the same page that I put the little corner in. And this is included in the kit. And all I did was, this was a pocket watch. I just cut the top off and kept it as a circle so that I'd have a little spot. Because I ended up printing this in cardstock, and it's a little thick, but I didn't want to throw it out. And then I put the little birdie one in there with the little lines. So it's cute. And stick it in there. Fussy cut the rows out. And then this was a journal spot, like a journal, what do you call them? Journal card. But I folded it to make a tuck and then used this one as the journal card instead. And then I don't know what I was thinking. I just wanted to play, and so I made a little belly band on here. Fussy cut the butterfly and the hot air balloon, and then it's also a journal spot. So I don't know. I was just playing. Like I said, Stampin' Up! Stamps. There we go. Sorry if I was flipped back. I wasn't paying attention. Sorry. So you can see this shows through. This isn't actually stamped on there. It's actually shows through from here. Originally, when I printed this kit out, I guess I printed it out quite a while ago, it's not on great photo paper. Not photo paper. What do you call it? Copy paper, you know. Printer paper. There you go. It's on cheap stuff. And so it's pretty thin. And then I printed a couple of extra pages because I wanted more pages. So I reprinted some of them. So they're in there twice. And it's a much heavier weight paper. Much nicer. And I got that from Red River. It's an online store, and it's the 37-pound, I think it's called photo paper, matte photo paper. That's what I use in all my journals now. I like the weight better. And if you want to, you know, like say you print something and you want to add coffee after, and you're thinking, should I dare? It does work if you're careful. You just have to be careful. And I'll show you how to do that. Okay. And then I created a little belly band here. This was just sitting, I guess it was for the last thing I did and didn't end up using it. I think I got lazy. But I did cover it in, it's the Martha Stewart. And I covered in the Lindy's Desert Moon Turquoise, the embossing powder. They're my favorite embossing powders, bar none. Okay, so there's an example of the glitz that was on that. And then there's just a little journaling card. More little journaling cards. Aren't they adorable? And a little banner. Oh, this is from the dollar store, believe it or not. I absolutely love it. It came like this. Where'd I put them? Here. This is where I took it from. Like, amazing, right? Love those. They're a little shiny, but that's okay. I don't mind that. I mean, what do you want for $1.25? And I did get them at Dollar Tree, you guys, in Canada, but I'm pretty sure you guys would have the same thing. And then this is a doily that I coffee stain, tea stain, one of the two. And then I edged it with that turquoise embossing powder. I absolutely love that. And this is a little metal butterfly from Michael's. You know, you get the little cards and they've got little embellishments on them. I believe it is also from Irene. Then this was the leftover from that vintage Queen Bee. And I just made a little, well, it's actual envelope shape. You just cut it out and glue it together. Very cute. It's got the bees on it. This is Stampin' Up. You're supposed to have the dies. I got this at that garage sale. Brand new, never even been used. And I just need to get the die set. They still have it. I just haven't spent the money. Okay, again, another collage sheet. Now this was an extra piece and I wanted to cover up my stitching, so I made it into a little pocket. Cut the thumb hole. Now, I've been using lately a little oval punch instead of the round punch. That way you get a shallower, longer thumb punch. I don't know. I like it better. So again, just collaging. Another belly band. This is how these print out, just like this. So they look like an envelope, but they're actually not. And so I just taped them together to make a little journal book. And this one is not part of the collection, neither is this. I think it's from Vintage Queen Bee. I was just playing. And this is that die I was having so much trouble explaining to you how it worked. I don't know why I was having trouble telling you, but there's another circle that comes with it. So you can put this down and you can use this on any size of circle. And you get, you know, a fancy center, and then you can have a nice wide border or scallop border or whatever. So you can kind of make your own doily. It's cool. So that's what I did. I made my own little doily. Another journaling card. These were framed, like looked like a wooden frame around them, and I didn't actually care for the frame part too much, so I cut it off and made a banner. Okay, there's this bird was sitting on my desk. It was pink. And I was determined I was using it. So again, I did the bird is done in the turquoise, but the wing is done in, it's called Orbit Olive Gold. It is a stunning color, I tell you. Let's get that up nice and close so you can see that. Don't you just love the shimmer? But it's translucent, so it's not a solid. I mean, if you put layers and layers, you get a solid color, but I like the sheerness of it. Using up scraps, you know, from the kit. Another of the roses. And there's the other part of that doily. Now this I just layered. I cut out the little top hat, and then I cut out, I think they're from two different things, actually. Just layered them one on top of the other. There's more of that dollar store sticker. This one I added one of my homemade buttons. I've been making buttons. Well, I had made these quite a while ago. Just from cereal boxes and stuff like that. When I find a color I like from a package I'm going to, you know, put in the recycle bin, I really like the color, then I save it. Because then I go nuts and I make a whole bunch of buttons. There's another one of those stickers. And it is a tuck. And then, see, this is how they come. So when you cut them out, they kind of look like they're an envelope. I used a lot of stamps in here that I haven't used in a really long time. I like this lamp. It's pretty. And there's again another piece actually torn from a paper just like that. I don't know, I can't seem to leave a blank page. It bothers me. I either have to put washi tape on it or I have to stamp it. It's just the way it is. And that's it. That's my little journal. She's a cutie pie. And I think I might end up using this as a journal to write in when we go and see my son next month. We're doing that, and we're also going to Victoria, so I might end up, using that for a little journal book. But I think she turned out pretty cute. Okay, so real quick, I wanted to show you what I had done is I had printed this out originally on kind of a thin, not very good printer paper. So I wanted to see what would happen if I used a sponge brush and coffee. Instead of spraying it right on, I thought, well, if I spray it directly on there, it's going to soak it right through, and definitely the color will run. So it did bleed through on that side, but it doesn't look that bad, right? Not that bad. Okay, now this one is done, I think it's done on the heavier paper. And now that I'm feeling it, maybe it isn't. But I'll show you what I did, and we'll see what happens. Even though I have done lines on that side, all I do is, take a little coffee, spray it on my craft mat, if I can. Hello. I don't know, this sprayer doesn't seem to work very well anymore. And then I just kind of soak it up in the sponge brush. And then starting in the center, yeah, this is the cheaper stuff, so you can see what it does. Okay, then I'm going to move it. You can see the color already lifted. So, like I've told you before, I have a really great printer, but I don't buy the ink that goes with the printer. When I was using the ink that went with the printer, I didn't get bleed, even when I coffee stained. But I'm not paying $33 for a cartridge. That's just retarded. So I'm trying to think outside the box, Yes, I do. I have printed on coffee or tea stain paper, and it works great. I love it. But, sometimes you decide to coffee or tea stain something after the fact, right? And that's when you run into trouble. So, I'm trying to, see which works best. Yeah, I think this is the thinner stuff. But even that didn't turn out bad, right? Not too bad. It does pull out the pink or the red, I guess, is the background color, which you normally wouldn't even see until you hit it with coffee. But I'd use that. Wouldn't bother me. I think versus spraying directly onto your paper, I think this works better for me. I don't know. You guys might want to, do a little practice run. I wish I had another piece that I had printed, but wait a minute. What's this one? Nope, that's cheap too. Here. This, I just printed this out. I thought it was stunning. Isn't that gorgeous? And let's cut that out. Hang on. Let's cut a small one out. I'd intended to cover a book, but it's actually way too big. And I wanted to reprint it anyway, so I thought, well, I'll just turn these into little journal tags. So let's just cut one out and then try it. Let's see if I can get this to spray. Oh, heavens above. Let's use my tea because that works way better. Okay. So I'm just going to soak up that tea. And you guys know me. If I can save money, I'm going to save money. So I get a lot of my supplies at the dollar store. Yeah, see, what a way better paper this is. It takes a while for it to even soak into the paper. Much better quality paper. And that just kind of takes away the white, which I really don't like in a journal. I don't know. I have a thing about white. Way nicer. It takes longer to dry too. Okay. So you see the difference, right? You know, that looks, and it feels better too. Wow. That hardly, you know, this is way, if you could feel the difference, you'd understand. I mean, this to me is like 1,000 times better. If I have to spend a little bit more money on my paper, I'm going to. Because I'm going to like the results. It's going to last longer. You can stamp and it won't bleed through as quickly. If you're getting thin paper and, you know, you're coffee staining it, I mean, you've already sort of changed the paper itself because you've added coffee or tea to it. So when you stamp, you're going to get a little bit of bleed through. And some are worse than others. Like some, you immediately, it's right through and it looks terrible. But if you get a good quality paper, you avoid that. It just looks so much better. Anyway, that's my little tip. I will be starting it. I'm going to be calling them Tips, Tricks, and Tools by Cheryl. And I hope to be starting those this week. And it'll be a series of, you know, ideas on how to use your tools, how to get the best results from things, and hopefully there'll be a lot of questions so that I can follow up on the next video and answer those questions. So I hope you guys follow along and, you know, yeah, have fun. So I hope you guys are all having a wonderful weekend. It's really hot here again, man. It's been hot for weeks and weeks and weeks, and we're on a major fire ban. There's over 100 forest fires in BC alone right now, so yeah, it's really hot and dry, and yeah, I mean, it's great suntan weather, and we were at the beach actually yesterday. Went to the beach, had fish and chips at the pier, and it was beautiful. So we had a lovely time. But yeah, I'd love a day of rain. Clear things up a little bit, cool things down a little bit. But I hope you guys are all having a wonderful summer so far, and we will talk later. Bye.